6 letters, 2 words, easy to say, hard to explain, and even harder to do. Move on. Today we are talking about this, friends, how to move on in our life. I'm sure each one of us has gone through this situation where we were so much attached to someone physically, emotionally, intimately, and then that one day when we had to decide to let go, when we had to decide to move on in our life, it became extremely difficult. And then we went back and forth again into that relationship just to sink ourselves further into it. So today I'm sharing with you 6 ways on how you can move on effectively in your life and get your life back into path. Hi friends, I'm Swati. I'm an NLP practitioner and an ICF certified life coach. And today I'm sharing with you 6 ways on how you can effectively move on in your life and get your life back into action. As a life coach, friends, I've helped a lot of people get into the situation where they could move on in their life, deal with breakups, deal with heartaches, and get back their life into control. But I still see a lot of people still stuck into their past relationships, not being able to move on, sulking into themselves and not really getting their life back in action just because they don't know how to deal with this emotional stress. So today I'm sharing with you 6 effective ways on how you can get your life back in control and deal with that breakup, deal with that heartache quickly and come back into life. And you know the drill. Before we go ahead, click on the subscribe button so that you can access my videos right in the beginning. So the first thing to do while you're moving on is cut the contact. Cut off all contact with your ex. Many people feel that friendship with your ex will let you have the relationship intact. Well, let me tell you friends, it does not work like that. You cannot be friends with your ex unless and until you have a lot of maturity to handle that. So it's always recommended to cut off the contact and completely detach yourself. Remember, out of sight is out of mind is out of heart. Follow this philosophy and let yourself move on. Remember friends, we are all creatures of our own habits. Your ex relationship has become your habit. So break the pattern. Talking to them regularly, contacting them via SMS, WhatsApp, emails, meeting them will only allow you not to move on further. So it's always better to cut off all the connection so that your mind is free and you have already detached yourself from the past and you can move on in a clear journey ahead. The next thing to do is get yourself into a routine. Get busy with your routine or your schedule on a daily basis. Like they say, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So the more idle your mind is, the more it will go back into the past, bring back those memories and bother you even further. So it's better to create a schedule for yourself and stick to the schedule. Follow a daily regular routine. Maybe if you're not busy enough, look for certain projects, look for certain creative things to do so that you can occupy your day completely. Not only just your mind, but physically as well. Do some physical activities, maybe going for a walk, going for a run, or even exercising. Whatever it keeps you, but make sure you divert your mind or distract your mind and keep yourself busy. Because the more you are idle, the more you will sink into the past. And it's a proven study that people who have a regular routine, they are less prone to get into further depression in life. The next thing to do is silence your inner critic. This is a situation which happens subconsciously to all of us. Whenever we are in a situation in life where we are going through a negative phase, our mind throws us some really cruel negative self-critics, which basically gets into a blame mode, pities you, undermines your self-confidence, and really distorts you. You know, you will start to get such voices like, this was meant to happen to you. You're now going to be all alone in your life. You can't trust anyone. You don't know, you have no one to love you. All those kind of thoughts will keep on coming to your mind. The idea is to recognize that kind of thought if it's coming, and you have to break the loop, break the pattern. In some way or the other, you have to identify those thoughts and just get out of that pattern. Because if you allow those negative thought loops to come into you, it'll finally let you sink into depression. So do not fall for that. The next thing is, look at life as a journey and not the end of the road for you. I understand that when you're in a relationship, it looks like it makes you complete, but it's not the only thing. You are whole and complete in yourself. You have your own story, and that will never stop. That should never stop because of one person or one relationship. Remember that every relationship comes with an expiry date. And all throughout your journey, I'm sure you have met so many people, so many friends, so many relatives, so many other relationships that you have had in the past, and you've also let go of them. So remember that philosophy and make sure that you treat life as a journey. It's not the end of the road for you. It is just closing one chapter to be able to open another new chapter. So if you have this imagery in mind, that your life is a moving cycle and that you have something more fruitful coming your way, you'll be able to let go of this feeling very, very easily. And you'll be able to also look at life such that tomorrow, 10 years later, this struggle must have taught you something. You must have learned something from this relationship as well. Keeping that in mind, you have to move ahead. The next thing that you need to keep in mind is practice self-compassion or self-love. That is the only way to healthily move out of a relationship, is to focus on your own self. Rather than bouncing back from one relationship and jumping into another one, just like a relapse mode, don't do that, because that will only confuse you even further, because you've not just come out of one relationship and now jumping into another one just to forget the earlier one. That's not a healthy sign to do. Rather, focus on yourself. All the time and attention that you were giving in that relationship, now you have that time to focus on your own self. So practice self-compassion, practice mindfulness, so that you can be less intrusive and less indulgent in negative thought loops. You will not blame yourself, you will not judge yourself. Rather, you will practice self-love by taking care of yourself. That ways your moving on process will be much more healthy and will really help you in a long way. Because remember, like I said before, you are complete and whole in your own self. You don't need a partner to complete yourself. And the people who are more full of self-love, they will really be able to bounce back in their life in a much better way, in a healthy way. And the last thing to do when you're in a moving on process is to talk about it. Talk about your feelings with other people. A lot of people feel that shutting yourself down or isolation will help you. Let me tell you, it will not. It will further let you go into depression or anxiety or stress. Rather, it's always recommended to talk about it. Talk about your feelings, what you're feeling, so that you don't feel alone and in a helpless situation. So the more you talk about it, the more you vent out your feelings, the better relieved you will feel, and you'll be able to come out of that depression phase even faster. So talk about it with friends, with family, whom you think will not judge you, whom you think will offer you a confidential space, who can empathize with you, who can feel your pain and really get your mood upbeat. If not anyone else, talk to a therapist, talk to a coach or a counselor who can help you come out of those feelings. But talking it out is very, very important. Venting out your feelings at this juncture is very, very important, rather than just keeping it to yourself, because in that process you're going to just bottle up yourself and it'll burst out someday. So it's better to vent it out at the right time, so that you are free from all the negative baggages and you can move on in your life with a new spirit. So that's it from my side, friends. I hope this video was beneficial for you. These were some of the very, very practical ways on how you can get rid of your past relationship and move on in life in a better way, in a faster way, in an effective way. If you're going through something like this in life, please do adapt that and let me know if this video was beneficial for you. I'll wait for your comments. And if you feel someone else in your life is going through such kind of a phase, please do share this video with them, because it will definitely help them as well. I will see you next week, friends, with some new interesting videos. Till such time, you do take care. Bye-bye.